Hello friend, welcome. This is a quick strengthening yoga class for sciatic pain. Now, sciatic pain is generally caused by some sort of compression of the sciatic nerve. Now, sciatic nerve begins in our lumbar spine and it kind of comes out both sides. It's got roots going into our lumbar spine on either side of your spinal cord. And then from there, it comes out and all those roots become one big nerve that go down the back of your leg, and then it splits kind of again around your calf going into your foot. If we have any type of compression, be that on the roots or on the actual sciatic nerve itself, anywhere down the leg, if there is compression on that nerve, we're going to often experience pain, tingling, numbness, sometimes even burning sensations. That compression is often caused by a bulging disc or herniated disc, but sometimes it could be a muscular issue as well. So in this class, our focus is going to be first on creating length and space throughout our lower back and hips to help open that area up. And then we're going to move into some strengthening exercises to help tone up and strengthen the muscles in that area to stay in that elongated state where hopefully the nerve is no longer compressed. As always, be careful, listen to your body. If you do feel sharp shooting pains at any point or anything just doesn't feel right in this practice, please back out of whatever it is we're doing to a place where you no longer feel that. And if you have questions about this, drop them in the comments box below. I'll be happy to get back to you. You're not going to need any props for this class, so whenever you're ready, I'll see you back here on the mat. All right. We're going to begin in child's pose. So make your way down onto your mat. Start to stretch your hands forward, bringing your knees out wide. Let your big toes come together slightly to touch back behind you. Then sink your hips down. Let your forehead rest on the mat. You can always let your forehead come down onto a block as well. And once you make it down to your mat, you might roll your head from side to side a couple times, trying to loosen up tension in the back of your neck. Really critical here while we're in child's pose, because our goal here is to create space and length with each inhale. Try to imagine creating length throughout your spine, all the way from the crown of your head down to the tip of your tailbone. And then with each exhale, try to intentionally relax all the muscles down your back, allowing your hips to sink as low as possible. Take just a couple more slow, deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, on an inhale, start to pull your hands back towards your shoulders, press your torso up, moving into table. And bring your knees underneath your hips, hands underneath your shoulders. You might even tuck your toes if you have tight arches in your feet. You can just pedal your feet back and forth a couple times to stretch them out. Then on an inhale, let your belly drop towards the mat, tailbone, head, and chest lift for cow pose. Exhale, curl your chin in, tuck your tailbone under, pressing the center of your back up towards the ceiling, cat pose. Inhale, back up, cow pose. Exhale, curl into cat pose. Keep moving between these two at your pace. If you'd like to find some side stretches, please feel free to do so and try to use your breath to instigate that movement. So on an inhale, you'd push one hip over to the side. Exhale, curl your tailbone, tuck your chin to your chest, cat pose back at center. Inhale, push the other hip out to the side. Exhale, cat pose back at center. I'm just kind of finding any movement that feels really good, helping to gently open up and loosen, particularly our lower back. Every time you curl in to cat pose, this is really important. We're going to be using this engagement throughout the rest of class. Try to contract your lower abdominal muscles, those right around your belly button and below, to help make that contraction. And then on an inhale, you release, creating length and space. Exhale, contract your lower core. Inhale, lengthen. Take just a couple more breaths just like this. Now we're going to move right into some strengthening. Start to make your way down onto your forearms. Bring your elbows right underneath your shoulders, which might mean you need to bring your elbows in a little bit closer than shoulder width distance so that when your forearms roll out, your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Then step back to a forearm plank. Feet should be about hips width distance, maybe slightly wider. Tuck your tailbone to contract your core. Gaze up between your thumbs. Slightly squeeze your shoulder blades to expand across your chest. Take another inhale. Press the crown of your head forward. Then exhale, contracting your lower core. Push your hips up. Let your forehead come between your elbows. Then inhale, come back forward, forearm plank. Exhale, push your hips up. Inhale, forearm plank. Keep moving between these two poses. Each time you exhale and push your hips up, use your lower core to lift your hips, maybe taking some weight out of your feet. And then inhale back to forearm plank. 3 more, just like that. Exhale, push up. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, push your hips high. And inhale forward. All right, last time. Exhale, push your hips high. Now hold here, moving into dolphin pose. Walk your feet forward as far as feels comfortable. Keep contracting your lower core to send your hips high. Press down into your elbows. Let your head hang heavy. Breathe deeply. I know this is hard. One more full breath. And then step your feet back. On an inhale, come forward to a forearm plank. Exhale, set your hips down. We're moving down onto our stomachs. You're going to bring your hands down by your sides and just let turn your head to the side so one cheek rests down to the mat. Start to kick your heels up towards your tailbone and just gently windshield wiper your feet from side to side. All right. Go ahead and turn your head the other direction. Keep windshield wipering your feet side to side. And then you can lower your feet to the mat. Then turn your head back to center. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes. On an inhale, push up to table or to a high plank. Either one is good. And exhale to downward dog. Send your hips high. And your downward dog, feet should be hips width distance apart. Press your palms flat into the mat as best you can. Maybe start to pedal out your knees. Again, trying to use your lower core to lift your hips towards the ceiling, letting your head hang heavy. All right. When you're ready, start to walk your feet forward to the top of your mat, moving to a forward fold at the top of your space. Once you make it to the top of your mat, inhale, rise up halfway, hold here. Trying to lengthen our spine, making your back as flat as possible. So slightly tuck your tailbone, contracting your core in and up. Squeeze your shoulder blades, trying to expand across your chest. And then on an inhale, reach your arms out to a T shape, straight out from your shoulders, maybe flipping your thumbs up so your palms face forward. Keep that core engagement to help protect your lower back. One more inhale, reach your arms up as high as you can, squeeze your shoulder blades, Then exhale, fold forward, let your hands come down to the mat. Grab for opposite elbows. Maybe you start to sway side to side. As you move to the left, you can bend your left knee. As you move to the right, you could bend your right knee. This is helping to loosen up that lower back into your hip, particularly if you're pairing it with the bend of one knee. Remember, as you move to the right, bend your right knee. As you move to the left, bend your left knee. One more full breath. And then release your hands down to the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Find some length once again. Exhale, fold forward. Try to bring that length down with you. Maybe that means bringing your hands behind your calves so you can pull your torso down just a little bit further. You might shake your head yes and no a couple times. And then release your hands towards the mat. Inhale, slowly rise all the way to standing, sweeping your arms out wide. Hands will come to meet overhead. Exhale, cactus your arms. Really squeeze your shoulder blades. As your elbows come down, keep your tailbone slightly tucked. Inhale, reach high. Same thing. Exhale, cactus your arms. One more time. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, cactus. All right, inhale, reach high. Now exhale, fold forward. Hands pass through the center of your chest this time as you come back down to the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Now start to bring your weight over into your left foot. Inhale, your right leg lifts up for standing L. Right away, level off your hips. Press the ground away with your standing foot, firing up your glute. One more inhale, right leg lifts high. Exhale, gently step your right foot to the back of your mat, low lunge. I want to make sure that your left ankle is right below your left knee. Then on an inhale, lift your head and chest, find some length. Exhale, push your hips high, straighten your front leg, contracting your lower core. Inhale, low lunge, rebend your front knee, lift your head and chest, find some length. Exhale, push your hips high, straighten your front leg. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, sink back down. Then exhale, right away, pivot to a wide leg forward fold to your right. Pivoting your heels out so that the pinky toe edge of your feet are parallel with the ends of your mat. Press your hands down and forward into the mat to deepen your fold. Maybe shaking your head yes and no. Try to send your tailbone towards the ceiling. Then if you like, you could start to move side to side, bending one knee and then the other. Just moving back and forth on your mat, leaning over to the left and then over to the right. Try to keep your lower core slightly engaged to help send that tailbone up towards the ceiling. One more full breath here. And then on your next inhale, slowly rise up halfway. Exhale, pivot to the top of your mat, this time to a runner's lunge. So walking your front foot, your left foot, out to the edge of your mat, bringing both hands to the inside of your front knee. Left toes point out at about 45 degrees. Make sure you're contracting your lower core to support your lower back here. On an inhale, lift your head and chest, lengthen. Exhale, push your hips high, straighten your front leg. Inhale, sink back down. Exhale, push up. Inhale, sink low, runner's lunge. Last time, exhale, push up. And then inhale, sink low, runner's lunge. All right, take another full breath here. Then inhale, lean forward. Exhale, step your right foot up to the opposite side of your mat. We're moving to a Malasana squat. Traditionally, we bring our hips down below our knees. Elbows come to the insides of our thighs with our hands resting at the center of our chest. And your elbows are kind of pushing your knees out away from one another. If getting your hips this low is just not in your practice though, always feel free to take a higher squat. You might need to bring your feet out a little bit wider and just kind of sink your hips as low as feels comfortable and use your hands on the tops of your thighs to kind of push your knees out away from you, creating length in your spine. So you're kind of leaning your chest forward, pushing your knees out away. All right, take another slow, deep breath in your Malasana squat. And then release your hands down to the mat. On an exhale, push your hips back and then up to a forward fold, heel-toeing your feet into hips width distance apart. Inhale, rise up halfway, find some length. Then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, slowly rise all the way to standing. Sweep your arms out wide. Hands will come to meet overhead. Exhale, cactus your arms. Keep your tailbone tucked. And inhale, reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Hands pass through the center of your chest. Inhale, lift up halfway. Again, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Bring that length with you. All right. Start to bring your weight this time into your right foot. Inhale, your left leg goes high for standing L. All right, away, leveling off your hips. Again, pressing the ground away with your standing foot. Maybe lifting your chest, trying to create length down your spine. One more inhale, left leg goes high. Then exhale, gently step your left leg to the back of your mat. Again, right ankle should be right underneath your right knee. Inhale, lift your head and chest, find some length. Exhale, contract your lower core to push your hips high, straighten your front leg. Inhale, sink back down, low lunge. Exhale, push up. One more time. Inhale, low lunge. And exhale, push up. Inhale, come back down, low lunge. Then exhale, pivot to your left, wide leg, forward fold, pushing your heels out so the pinky toe edge of your feet are parallel at the ends of your mat. Press your hands down and forward, contracting your lower core to push your hips high, keeping just a micro bend in your knees to avoid locking them out. Couple more slow, deep breaths here. Just like before, you have the option to move side to side, kind of bending one knee and then the other. Keep letting your head hang heavy. One more full breath. And make your way back to center. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, pivot to the top of your mat to a runner's lunge, bringing your right foot out to the edge of your mat with your toes pointing out at 45 degrees. Both hands should be to the inside of your front knee. Inhale, lift your head and chest, lengthen. Exhale, contract your lower core, push your hips high. Inhale, back down, runner's lunge. Exhale, push up. Inhale, runner's lunge. We'll do that one more time. Exhale, push your hips high. Inhale, back down, runner's lunge. Take a full breath here. All right. Again, inhale, lean forward. Exhale, Malasana squat. Step your left foot up to the opposite side of your mat. Sink your hips low. Elbows coming to the insides of your thighs. Hands rest at the center of your chest. Think about pressing down into the ball and heel of your foot while also lifting the arch of your foot. Contract your glutes slightly, engaging your Mula Bandha, which is essentially the Sanskrit term for a Kegel engagement, kind of contracting your lower core and pelvic muscles in and up. One more full breath here. And release your hands down to the mat. Push your hips back, then up to a forward fold. Heel toeing your feet into hips width distance apart. Inhale, lift up halfway, find some length. Exhale, fold forward. Go ahead and plant your hands to the mat. On an inhale, step back to a high plank. Hold here for 3 breaths. Kind of pressing your hands down and forward, pushing the ball of your feet down and backward. Contracting your core, squeezing your shoulder blades, gazing up towards the top of your mat. Take another full breath here. Inhale, and exhale to downward dog. All right, go ahead and make your way down onto your knees. We're going to move into just a couple strengthening exercises to help you build strength to maintain that length we just created. Starting with a reverse table lift. So, reverse table, we end up pushing our hips high. Our hands will be back behind us. If you have sensitive wrists, you might want a blanket, or you can roll your mat over like this, creating just like a little bit of a platform, and you're going to put your palms on that rolled over mat or blanket and let your knuckles come down to the floor. So you just basically take some of that bend out of your wrists while we're here. You can also, instead of having your fingers pointing forward, which is kind of the traditional way to do it, you could point your fingers straight backwards. All right? So find a placement for your hands that works for you back behind your hips. Bring your feet to hips width distance apart. On an inhale, push your hips high, working to bring them up to shoulder height if you can. Squeeze your glutes, press down into your heels. Try to expand across your chest by squeezing your shoulder blades. One more inhale here. Then exhale, bring your hips down towards your heels. Inhale, push your hips back towards your hands, trying to keep your hips lifted off the mat, straightening your legs. Take a full breath here. Then inhale, reverse table. Push your hips back up. Just a couple more slow deep breaths. Really trying to press your hips as high as you can. One more inhale. Exhale, bring your hips down towards your heels. Keeping your hips up off the mat, pull them back towards your wrists. Hold here for a full breath, straightening your legs. Then inhale, reverse table. Last time, push your hips high. One more big inhale. Exhale, hips to heels. Inhale, pull your hips back towards your wrist. Keep your hips up off the mat. Straighten your legs. Take a full breath. Then sink your hips down to the mat. Gently shake out your wrists, which I know are probably screaming right now. You can also help bring some synovial fluid in by clasping your hands, keeping your elbows in, and just making a figure 8 shape with your hands. And as you make that figure 8 shape, you want to flex your wrist as you move. And then maybe switch, go the opposite direction. And then gently shake out your wrists. All right, one more strengthener here. Going to come down onto your back for this one. It's called the 90-90 hold. This is really to help strengthen your lower abdominal muscles. So we're going to do this for about 45 seconds on either side. I'm going to create a 90-degree angle with your shins. So right at your knee, you should be creating a 90-degree angle. Big toes can slightly touch, keeping about a fist's width distance between your knees. Now press your lower back flat into the mat. Then bring both hands over to your right knee and start to push your hands into your knee and your knee into your hands as hard as you can. Keeping your lower back flat to the mat. We're just here for 45 seconds. This should be making you shake. This is not easy. Breathe slow and controlled. Try to send oxygen to those muscles that are working so hard. Friends, you're almost halfway through. Keep breathing. Push as hard as you can. The harder you push, the more you have to gain here. All right, here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your feet down to the mat. Bring them out wide. One hand can rest on your belly, one hand on your chest. Just gently windshield wiper your knees side to side. All right, coming back to center. Bringing your knees back up to 90 degrees. We're going to move to the left knee this time. Both hands come over. Press your hands into your left knee. Push your left knee into your hands as hard as you can. Lower back is flat to the mat. 45 seconds. Keep breathing. If you need to lift your head up, you're always welcome to do so. I just find it feels a little better for me in my body with my head down, but you might be different. All right, keep breathing. I know you're probably shaking a lot right now. I am too. Just over halfway. Got about 15 seconds left. And we're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and release your feet to the mat. Again, bring them out wide. Start to windshield wiper your knees side to side slowly. Fast movements will not benefit you here, so go nice and slow. And you can have one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Try to disengage as much as possible. All right. Then on an exhale, start to hug your knees towards your chest, pressing your tailbone towards the mat, slightly lifting your chest so that you create some space in your abdomen. Maybe you rock side to side a couple times. And then inhale out to a full body stretch. Arms reach up overhead, straightening your legs, maybe taking some wrist circles and ankle circles. Move into a quick Shavasana, bringing your hands down by your sides. Let your whole body start to melt down into the mat. If you need, we're going to try to practice a wave-like pattern of breathing. You could bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your chest, if that makes it easier. With each inhale, try to let your belly rise first. Breath then expands up into your chest. Exhale, your belly drops and your breath recedes back down. Inhale, your belly rises, breath expands up. Exhale, your belly drops, the breath recedes back down. Just keep going like this. We're going to be here for just about a minute. With each exhale, try to allow every muscle in your body to disengage. With each inhale, try to imagine creating space and length. Go ahead and take 3 more slow, deep breaths. When you're ready, on an inhale, maybe take another full body stretch. And then you can release your arms down by your sides. Start to make your way up to a comfortable seat. Once you're seated, just take a moment, bow forward, seal your practice in. Remember, you're not bowing to me or anything external, but to yourself and the work you just did on your mat. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope this helped alleviate a little bit of your sciatic pain and hopefully helped you create some strength so that you can maintain that length throughout the rest of your day. All right, I'll catch you next time.